Last night, a little something different here at Petco Park as the Rangers used an opener to win the opener in Game 1 of this 3-game series. They got great pitching from seemingly everybody they rolled out there. A 4-0 win and a shutout of the Padres in the first game of this series. Not much happening offensively for San Diego, but Franmil Reyes did have a couple of hits last night, and in the last couple of weeks, an average up close to 400 to go along with 6 homers and some doubles as well. Joey Gallo not in the lineup last night for the Rangers, but he's in there this evening. 36 home runs, tied for 4th most in all of Major League Baseball. Welcome back to Petco Park with Mark Sweeney. I'm Jesse Agler. Game 2 of this weekend interleague series between the Padres and the Rangers. Eric Lauer will be on the mound tonight for San Diego. He's just a starter. He's not an opener. He's not a closer. He's just a good old-fashioned starting pitcher. His 3rd start back from the DL. He had that forearm strain. The first 2, pretty good, but I know they'd like to see some more length out of him.
Yeah, and you know what? They'd like to see progression. Like any young starter and gets that opportunity, he's in his 21st start. They would like for him to be very efficient. And how he does that, he goes on the attack, mostly on his glove side. That's going to be very important. The fastball command is always important, but watch the vary of speeds. But Eric Lauer has to go on the attack. If he does that, he can be efficient.
We'll keep a close eye on Eric Lauer here tonight, see how that goes. Meanwhile, Jurickson Profar for the Rangers had a huge night last night. He had all 3 Texas RBIs. He had 3 hits. He had a home run, and this year, finally healthy, he's putting up some real numbers.
Yeah, the 25-year-old is really, and you said it, this is a guy that's being healthy, and when he's healthy, everyone knew what kind of numbers he was going to put up. I think he's actually surprising himself, not only the health, but also the production. It's very good. The switch hitter can hit from both sides, an aggressive approach. I think Lauer has to watch him because obviously he looked very hot last night.
Yes, he did. Coming up, another opener. It worked last night for the Rangers. They'll give it another go here this evening as Alex Claudio will take the hill to start this game. Bob Scanlon talks with Jeff Bannister when we come back.
Last night was the first night that the Padres had a chance to experience facing an opener, somebody other than a traditional starter starting the ball game for the opposition. It worked out well for the Rangers. Now tonight Jeff Bannister is going to do it again. He's going to go with a left-hander Alex Claudio to start the game. He'll come with a right-hander Ariel Jurado after him. Now, are there some adjustments? Absolutely, because Claudio has had 200 appearances in the big leagues, but this will be only his second start. How tough is it? Jeff Bannister explains.
It is an adjustment. Most of these guys are all routine oriented. You know that they love to have the routine. They love to know what they're going to do. The thing that we've done that I really told our coaches just to get out in front of it, have the discussions before we do it, lay down the groundwork, and then let them know that, look, we're setting them up for a situation that is going to be uncomfortable, and we'll take all the heat if things don't go well, and give them all the credit when everything does go well. But I think that they've seen the success so far, and there's some guys that I think they're dipping their toe in the water on it.
Well, the Padres will try to make sure that it doesn't go well for Jeff Bannister and his Texas Rangers. For the Padres, Eric Lauer, a traditional starter, will be trying to get his 6th win of the season. Padres, Rangers, first pitch coming up next, right here on Fox Sports San Diego.
Swing and a miss, and Lauer strikes out for Sutton. And he strikes out on the high fastball. Back-to-back Ks for Lauer.
Eric Lauer getting ready to make his 21st Major League start, his 3rd since returning from the DL. And time now for the weather report, brought to you by your always sunny Honda dealers of San Diego County. Warm but comfortable at Petco Park, 77 degrees, a little bit of a wind and a clear forecast here in San Diego with Mark Sweeney, Bob Scanlon, and our entire Fox Sports San Diego crew. I'm Jesse Agler. Middle game of this 3-game series. Rangers took game 1 last night by a final of 4-0. They used an opener. It went very well, and they're going to whirl that out again tonight. Padres go with the traditional starting pitcher, the 23-year-old left-hander from Elyria, Ohio. Eric Lauer out there making his 3rd start since coming back from the left forearm strain. They have both gone pretty well, and we talked about it a few minutes ago, Mark. The main thing the Padres would like to see is his ability maybe to keep that pitch count down and go a little bit deeper into game.
Yeah, I think efficiency is one of the things that I think Eric Lauer is definitely looking at for himself. Go on the attack tonight.
Thursday at Cincinnati, 4 shutout innings, but he threw 86 pitches. Jeff Bannister has put his lineup together, and it's brought to you by your San Diego Ford dealers. Delino DeShields Jr. will lead off once again. Shin Soo Choo in number 2 spot. Elvis Andrews will bat third. In the middle, Beltre, Odor, and Profar, who had the big night last night. Their changes are down at the bottom. Gallo was not in the lineup yesterday. Neither was Chirinos. And the opener, Alex Claudio, tentatively scheduled to bat 9.
Let's take a look at the scouting report for Eric Lauer. As we talked about, being efficient tonight, very important. Averaging 90 pitches and only 14 innings of work in his last 3 starts. And vary the velocity. 79% are fastballs, the 4-seamer and the cutter. He has to change velocity with those and also really get inside. That glove side is very important tonight. Well, here's the Padres defense brought to you by your San Diego County Ford dealers. From third to first, Will Myers. Javi Guerra gets his first start at shortstop. Freddie Galvis at second base. He shifts over to the right side, and Eric Hosmer at first. In left, Hunter Renfroe, center field Travis Jankowski, and Franmil Reyes in right. Austin Hedges is the catcher tonight for Eric Lauer.
Definitely a different looking defense here this evening behind the left-hander. And we'll take a look at the keys to the game, brought to you by your San Diego Honda dealers.
Well, Jesse, it's a game of chess tonight, and I like it. And you think about it, between Andy Green and Jeff Bannister, we have bullpenning, but also pitcher hitting 8th for Andy Green. A lot of varying roles when it comes down to it. And also Galvis and Guerra in the middle of the infield. I'm looking forward to these two. They're 2 slick fielding infielders. Freddie Galvis has played second base before.
He has, but it's been a couple of years since he started a game out there, and he had started every single game of this season, all 148 Padre games at shortstop. He slides over to second as Javi Guerra makes his first major league start, and Delino DeShields takes a first pitch fastball for a strike from Eric Lauer. DeShields making his second consecutive start in this series, leading off both games, center field both games. You see the average just over 200 on the season, and Lauer jumps right on top of him, 0-2. Lauer has not allowed an earned run in either of his last 2 starts. Been a long time since a Padre pitcher has gone 3 straight starts without allowing an earned run. Hasn't happened since Joey Hamilton did it in 1995. Padres have never had a rookie pitcher do that. But again, they'd like to see him work deeper into the game. That one will be right through the middle for a base hit. No chance for Guerra, who can certainly field his position, and a leadoff single for DeShields after he fell behind in the count.
Back-to-back nights where DeShields has led off the game with a sharp single up the middle of the diamond. Last night a line drive to center field. This one a hard ground ball.
In last night's game, he attempted to steal on Francisco Mejia, paid the price. Now you get Austin Hedges back there. Not any easier. Only the 4th time all season DeShields has been caught stealing. He's got 20 stolen bases on the year. Here's Chu, and he takes a curveball for a strike.
Well, we all know we're getting old. Well, Delino DeShields, I played with his dad in St. Louis. I feel old today.
His dad debuted in 1990. Major League pickoff leader. I would not say that was the A or the B move. Maybe the R move from Eric Lauer, just letting DeShields know he's thinking about him. Eric leads the majors with 10 pickoffs. Padres as a team have 19, tied with the White Sox for most in all of baseball. So not only do you have Hedges back there, but you got the great move from Lauer. That'll make you think twice. And I'm sure also for a team that really hasn't seen him in person yet, this isn't like, all right, another start against the Giants or the Rockies or the Dodgers. It takes some time to get out there and get a feel for it.
Yeah, and it's a priority for DeShields to see that move. Also the dugout. Think about pitchers that have that good pickoff move. You want to be able to see it and show it to your teammates. Everyone understands that's a priority when you think of Eric Lauer and how he handles the running game.
So you got 3 elements of it from the Padre perspective. Lauer holding him close. The ability of Hedges to throw down there, and then up the middle, a couple of guys who have never played together before in a game, Guerra and Galvis. Got a guy in Galvis playing kind of out of position. A lot of moving parts. Came inside and hit two. He's got a knack for that. And the first two men reach against Eric Lauer here in the top of the first inning.
Well, he just loses this on that arm side. Get him on that elbow.
So 7 pitches into his night. Eric Lauer in a little bit of a jam here. Runners on first and second, nobody out. For the Rangers shortstop, Elvis Andrus. Andrews 0 for 4 in last night's game with a couple of strikeouts, and absolutely incredible home road splits for this guy in 2018. The batting average and the home runs. He's only driven in 5 runs on the road this year, and 4 of them came in one game at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, we hear Coors Field, also Philadelphia, Cincinnati in the National League.
Sends this one to center. Travis Jankowski will have a play on it, and no thoughts of advancing from DeShields. So out number 1 here in the first as Andrews struggles away from Globe Life Park continue. Yeah, that's the thing. You know, we always talk about Colorado and some of those guys having big numbers at home. There have been a lot of studies done, and it hurts them away from home as much as it helps them to play there.
Yeah, Globe Life is a hitter's paradise. And the reason why I say that, right center just flies out of there. Also, when it gets warm out, you can drive the baseball out of any part of that ballpark.
Padres have seen that firsthand playing there each of the last couple of years. Adrian Beltre over the course of his career has hit pretty much anywhere he's been. That include last night, couple of doubles in his last 2 at-bats. He moves past George Brett on the all-time hit list. Now number 15 in all of baseball history.
Yeah, real hard to sneak a fastball by him. He's so quick. Beats you to that spot on the inside part of the plate. We saw it twice last night.
RBI opportunity certainly for Beltre here in the first inning. Lauer looking to roll a ground ball at somebody. And now 1-1. Lauer's last start came in Cincinnati. Speaking of hitters' paradises. Most of the numbers are down for Beltre this year. He'll be a free agent after this season. Certainly no certainty as to whether or not he plays in 2019. Now 3,155 career hits.
Well, he's bounced into 12 double plays. 13 would be pretty good here.
In the air, right center. Jankowski covers a lot of ground, but Franmil Reyes will get there. DeShields will tag in advance, but now with 2 away. And hey, Lauer, after putting the first 2 guys on, has gotten a couple of outs and an opportunity to work out of this with a scoreless first.
It's like Lauer early in this game is really going to that arm side. He's been glove side dominant for so long. Maybe a different look to show these Ranger hitters.
Eric Lauer was 3 years old when Adrian Beltre made his major league debut.
Like I said, I'm feeling old, but I know he's feeling old and he's on the field.
I got Bartolo in there too. A couple of not so spring chickens.
How about Bart the last time he was here?
I have a recollection. Runners on the corners, 2 outs for Odor. First pitch swinging should be the inning. Galvis at second like he never left. Guerra covers, and the 2 G's up the middle get it done. A scoreless first. opener, Alex Claudio. Padre lineup brought to you by your San Diego County Toyota dealers. Myers leading off for only the 5th time this season and the first time since late June in San Francisco. Reyes and Renfroe also scheduled to hit in the first. Hosmer, Hedges, and Galvis in the middle. Javi Guerra looking for his first major league hit will bat 7th. Pitcher hitting 8th tonight for the Padres with Travis Jankowski in the number 9 position.
If we look at the scouting report of Alex Claudio, he's making his 2nd start. Last year made a start against the Houston Astros. Will he go 1 inning or possibly 2? He can extend himself. Has a deceptive delivery, but right-handed hitters are hitting .384 against him this year.
And that, as much as anything else, explains the batting order for Andy Green here tonight. That's why Will Myers is leading off for the first time in 4 months. That's why Franmil Reyes is batting 2nd for the first time. And really, that's why the pitcher is batting 8th. Myers goes right at him, and he sends it out towards the right center field gap. No play for DeShields, and extra bases on the first pitch of the night for Will Myers. 21st double of the season. I got your opener right here.
I think offensively last night for the Padres was a little frustrating. They looked flat at times, and when you look flat, it's because the opposition was pitching so well. Will Myers going to his strength, that right center gap. What a beautiful swing that is from Will, and a nice start for the Padres.
Did not have an extra base hit in last night's game, and now a double on the very first pitch of the game here tonight. So Myers in scoring position for Franmil Reyes, and again, they really like these matchups against Alex Claudio. He's doing the opener thing for the first time individually. Reyes hitting 2nd for the first time in his big league career.
I think the challenge for the Padres tonight, and we saw it last night, is the changeup. That has exposed this lineup of the Padres. Almost looks like they're looking for the fastball and that commitment of the fastball, and they're getting the changeup too many times in those situations.
Good one there. Only 69 miles an hour, and now ahead of Reyes, 1-2.
Now, Claudio has the ability. Last year, the closer for the Texas Rangers, he had 11 saves. So he has some finish to him. It has a lot to do with that delivery.
And there's Ariel Jurado, the starter, if you will. Good conversation earlier today about what you call that guy now. As Reyes waits for it, and Beltre there to make a nice play. Boy, still getting it done defensively after all these years. Nicely done. 1 out here in the first.
Well, Adrian Beltre, we've seen it so many years. He gets to it, you're out, because the accuracy on his throws still possesses a very good arm. Watch the short arm stroke. Once he gets up and throws, has the ability to really get that ball over to first base.
5-time Gold Glover. And it's not like it's been forever either. He was last honored with that award 2 years ago. So Hunter Renfroe with 1 out and Myers on second base. Yeah, Claudio facing Renfroe here, and as you said, he's got 1 start in his big league career, and it wasn't exactly a normal thing. Cole Hamels got hurt right before the game. They had to scramble, and he was an emergency starter last May in a game for the Rangers. And that's the thing with the opener conversation. It's an adjustment for all of these guys, and it's not necessarily going to be the most comfortable first inning of Alex Claudio's career, but maybe Jeff Bannister thinks if he does this 2 or 3 times in September, he'll come to understand it, appreciate it, embrace it a little bit.
Yeah, where are these guys mentally? Getting these challenges. We're seeing a lot of changeups by Claudio. But mentally going out there and having to start the game, warming up before the game, that's a different way of looking, and also coming in from the dugout. Sometimes that's not easy adjustment for these guys to make.
Renfroe, the leading home run hitter on this Padre team, takes low, and now 3 balls and a strike. He's had more appearances out of the bullpen than any other Ranger this year, Claudio. He last worked on Monday in Anaheim, late in the game. Inning and a third, no runs, a hit through 21 pitches. A normal outing for Alex Claudio. Tonight, not so much.
Well, to me, with a guy that's thrown this many changeups, you shift the field and you enable yourself not only getting off the fastball, but you enable yourself to pull on the changeup and take that fastball the other way like Will Myers did.
Payoff pitch to Renfroe is on the inside corner, and strike 3 called.
Time to look at the Rangers defense, brought to you by your San Diego Cadillac dealers. Well, we start with the great one. We saw him, Adrian Beltre at third base, Elvis Andrus at short, Rougned Odor at second, and Jurickson Profar gets a start at first base. From left to right, Joey Gallo, the big home run hitter in left field, Delino DeShields in center, and Shin-Soo Choo in right field. Robinson Chirinos gets a start behind the plate for Alex Claudio.
Beltre flashed that golden leather a few moments ago on the ball hit by Reyes, as Claudio tries to work around the lead double by Myers. Here's the only left-handed hitter at the top of the Padre order tonight, Eric Hosmer, and he falls behind 0-1. Myers wasted no time against Claudio, rocketed the first pitch at the bottom of the first inning to the right center field gap. Has not advanced, though, as the Padres look to score their first run of this series.
Too many times that leadoff double has been stranded. You see it around baseball. That's frustrating for a lot of people because you always want to play from ahead. Get that early lead.
Padres have scored 70 runs in the first inning this year, tied with the fourth inning for the most in any inning. They've also allowed a lot of runs in the first. Hosmer hitting .250 on the year with 16 home runs. He had 25 long balls each of his last couple of years in Kansas City. Power is certainly starting to show up a little bit more here down the stretch. From the American League days, Hosmer has seen Claudio a fair amount, 1 for 7 against him. Never saw him in the first inning, though. Eric Lauer worked out of a first and second, nobody out jam in the top of the first inning. Two and two on Hosmer. That was an 86-mile-an-hour fastball. Claudio's had his troubles, as Mark said, against right-handed hitting this year. Gave up the double to Myers, but got Reyes and Renfroe, and now he's got the left-hander Hosmer 2-2. On the ground to Odor. And we have played a scoreless first inning here at Petco Park.
and the Rangers. Eric Lauer going out for his second inning of work. Nothing major that he's going to be trying to do different tonight. The one thing mechanically that he's been working on and trying to get consistent with is the firmer front leg. He said that's been huge in terms of improving his velocity and his fastball command. Every now and then it leaves him though, so he's going to try to be aware of that. Trying to create some difference between the slider and the curveball. But one thing on the mental side, guys, everybody knows that the rotation was changed so that he could face the Dodgers next week in that big situation. You have to hope that he stays focused on this game first and not be worrying about what's happening 5 days from now. We'll see if he can put together another solid outing and be a third in a row, guys.
The old one day at a time, Bob. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, kind of an interesting thing. Andy Green wants to see his young guys under the bright lights of Dodger Stadium next weekend in Los Angeles, so they shuffle the rotation around a little bit. Might as well throw them into the fire, I guess, and see what comes out the other end. Profar leading off after the big night last night. Lauer in front of him now, ball and 2 strikes.
Well, Jesse, might be another opportunity too. In July 10th against the Dodgers here at Petco Park, 8 2/3 for Eric Lauer. I thought arguably that was his best start. Incredible that night.
Sorry about that. Max Muncy ruining the complete game opportunity with that home run in the 9th inning. Bob, another thing we've talked about with Eric Lauer, and we've heard Andy Green discuss as well, is just trying to be a little bit more efficient out there. That seems like one of those things that it's an obvious goal for any pitcher. What can you actually do to try and keep the pitch count down?
Well, one of the things is when you first come up to the big leagues, you think you have to be pinpoint perfect. And oftentimes we'll see young pitchers try to paint from the very beginning, and they get themselves in trouble. They work behind in the count, and they start working from the outside of the plate to the middle. And Sweens will tell you he loves that as a hitter when pitchers have to start working from the corners to the middle of the plate. So as a young pitcher, you start gaining confidence in yourself. You start realizing, look, I don't have to be pin perfect on strike one. I can go outer third. I don't have to go outer fifth. And I think that adjustment that he's made also with that firmer front leg has given him some more velocity on the fastball. It's given him better command and thus more confidence to go to it, guys.
Bob, for the people that are watching Eric Lauer, how important is velocity for him? Because we saw it in the Dodgers start, but also at times it's really stayed in that same zone. How important is it for you?
You know, it's not the be-all, end-all. For some guys, look, if you're a 95 and above guy, obviously your velocity is far more important, and that's what you rely on. He's always been more of a command guy, so he likes to have it. There's nothing wrong with having an extra 4 to 5 miles an hour, but for him more, it was the aggressive attitude. It was the approach of, look, I have a good fastball, I can be aggressive with it, and he's got better command with it as well. So is it the ultimate factor? No, but it sure is nice to have, and it's complementing his command to go with it as well.
It's great insight, Bob. Thank you very much. Will Myers, nice play over at third base. And Profar with the big night last night, unable to do anything in his first turn here today. And now our first look in this series at Joey Gallo, one of the most interesting hitters in baseball. We'll start with that. And a guy, I mean, you look at the raw numbers, you go, 36 home runs. Love that. But then you see it right there, decimal 209. And that's what he hit last year when he hit 41 home runs. It's a very interesting statistical breakdown when you get to Joey Gallo. Take a look at StatCast AI, powered by AWS. Big shift on the right side. And a swing and a miss, 1 and 2. A lot of red on the right. And a lot of rangy infielders as well.
Well, those 36 home runs, 14 of them have come against left-handers, so he stays in on left-handers. And we hear all about launch angle so many times. Well, he doesn't try to lift the ball. It looks like that.
Take a look at the Kia drive to success. And yeah, Gallo slugging since the All-Star break in the American League. Only a couple of MVP candidates between him and the top of the list. Skies that one to right. Reyes tracking, looking, Gallo gone. All of the launch angle for Joey Gallo. He's not trying to do it, but a moonshot to right center, and number 37 for Joey Gallo.
The last 2 years, he's really made improvements in the second half of the season. See the modified leg kick, but you see the backspin that he creates. Doesn't try to lift, but has a very good lower half that enables him to hit these monster fly balls that keep on carrying.
He is 4 strikeouts away from tying his own Ranger franchise record. You can call him Mr. All or Nothing, but you just saw the all, and it is very impressive. Chirino skies this one on the infield. An opportunity for Javi Guerra in his first major league start, and he makes the play 2 away.
Well, Jesse, for Gallo, it really has a lot to do with him just embracing who he is. And I don't think a lot of people worry about strikeouts now. When he first came up, they did worry about strikeouts. They sent him back down. He had to make adjustments. So mentally, I think he is where he is now and becoming the player that he just says, you know what, I'm committed to it. And there's nothing wrong with it. 37 home runs will speak volumes to that.
I thought he made a really nice point the other day, too. Somebody asked him about it, and he says, hey, look, Mike Trout can do everything. We all know that. He goes, most of us can't. Most of us only have a couple of things we can do really well at this level. And he, like you said, he's kind of just accepting, I am what I am.
You know, some of the hitting coaches, and I've had so many really good ones, but there's different phrases that you hear. One of the best ones I heard is maximize what you do best. And it's not necessarily working on your weaknesses constantly and trying to be that mediocre player. Maximize your strength, and that's what Gallo does.
Pinch hitter Ryan Rua is ahead, 3 balls and no strikes. He's up there hitting for the opener, Alex Claudio, who goes a scoreless inning. Rua appearing in his 57th game. Did not see him last night. Homered against Jose Castillo in the final game between these two teams back in June. Yeah, Gallo really fascinating. You can talk all night about him, what he does do, what he doesn't do, how he fits into baseball 2018. And you're right, it's changed a lot, that perception of strikeouts over the years.
And you know what? There's a lot of people out there that's like, why can't he make an adjustment with 2 strikes? And I agree with that. But if you're hitting that many home runs, that's what you're paid to do. You're paid to change the game. I don't have any problem with that. Guy with 10 home runs that's punching out at an alarming rate, I do.
That 2-strike batting average, by the way, .090. Rua strikes out against Lauer, his first. That ends the top of the second, but the Rangers get a Gallo bomb. Done, and the Rangers go to their traditional starter, if you will, Ariel Gerardo, the right-hander, on to work here in the second inning. We'll see how much he can give Jeff Bannister. Let's get a little bit more insight on the mental aspect of the opener thing. Bob Scanlon talked to yesterday's opener, Connor Sadzik. Bob.
You know, Jesse, it was really interesting. Now, Connor Sadcic, of course, got the opening opportunity yesterday. It was not the first time that he had started in his career. In fact, he spent a lot of time in the minor leagues starting. That being said, he still said it was extremely strange to get ready for the ball game yesterday. He didn't really know whether to prepare like a starter or to prepare like a reliever, so he sort of split the difference. And instead of spending 30 pitches getting ready as he normally would, he spent about 15 or 20 pitches preparing for the ball game. But he acknowledged, look, it was not a comfortable situation for him. And he said probably more comfortable for him having had some starter experience than it would be for a reliever who never had. He said, look, they're two different creatures, starting the ball game and coming out of the bullpen. And the other side holds true for Gerardo now as he comes in. He's had to prepare himself differently, still use all of his pitches to prepare for a long outing, but do it in a different setup without the usual routine. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see how these guys handle it mentally, making these adjustments.
The more they do it, the more comfortable they would be, you would think. But obviously, it's not always a straight line like that. This is the third time Gerardo has come in after an opener. The previous two times, Jeffrey Springs was the guy who pitched. We saw him in the 7th inning yesterday. Couple of innings of relief, and those numbers, those are the only big league numbers of Gerardo's career. He's a rookie. A little tapper from Hedges, and Chirinos handles it with a plumb one away here in the 2nd.
Hey, Jesse, one other thing to think about as Gerardo comes up here, and this might be a positive for guys who are starters who have problems in the first inning. We've seen this all the time, have we not? Guys that struggle in the first, that's one of the reasons they're trying the opener. Well, one of the things that's been bounced around by some organizations is instead of having your starting pitcher traditionally come in, sit down on the bench, especially on the road, and sit there and watch what's going on for a while and sit there for possibly 10 or 15 minutes, they've toyed with the idea of having him stay out in the bullpen and then come in from the pen, which does two things. First of all, it's a longer inning. They can stay sharp. They can physically stay sharp, but also mentally, you're more locked into the game standing on a mound. So who knows, maybe this actually works for some guys in terms of getting rid of some of those first inning jitters by not traditionally coming in from the dugout, if you follow me.
No, I do, and it's very, very interesting. Gerardo came in from the bullpen yesterday. Yoander Mendez, who was the starter, I guess, came in from the dugout. So each guy trying to do it in his own way. Sweens, we need to come up with a name, by the way, for what Gerardo is doing. He's not a starter, but he is, I don't know what the term is. We got an opener. Who's the next guy? Like, what do we call him? I need a term.
But there's got to be a term, and someone will come up with it. I don't think I'm smart enough to come up with a term for that.
Evan Grant of the Dallas Morning News, who covers the Rangers, he's using primary. That's his term. This is the primary guy.
I can see that working.
With innovation come questions.
Sequel.
I like that. The sequel. Galvis has worked it full here. Freddie .230 on the season with 11 home runs. And for the first time this year, not starting at shortstop. But he is in the lineup, as he has been every single game. And that is a base hit. Galvis had gone cold in Seattle, had a rough night at the plate last night. Nice to see him with a base hit in his first AB here this evening. And now, in his first major league start, his first appearance in the United States of America, Javi Guerra with an opportunity to come to bat. His only two big league at-bats were pinch hit appearances in that series down at Monterrey, Mexico. Guerra will turn 23 in about a week and a half. He's from Panama, as is the pitcher, Gerardo. Came over with Margot Asuaje, Logan Allen, and that Craig Kimbrell deal. A couple of pinch hit appearances in Monterrey, struck out both times, and now kind of a normal major league experience for Javi Guerra.
There's been some inconsistencies offensively for Guerra in his minor league career, but also has some power, especially that pull power. We see some in spring training.
So a little bit of Javi in spring training this year. Was 5 for 17 at the plate in Cactus League play. Made his major league debut that first game in Monterrey, the combined no-hitter for the Dodgers. Pinch hit again on Sunday at Estadio de Baseball in Monterrey, Mexico. Certainly a glove first guy. I don't think there's any question about that.
And a very slick infielder, has a very good arm, but offensively making some adjustments. And sometimes you can get to the big leagues and batter's eye is different. The intensity is different. Can actually help a player like this.
His manager at AAA El Paso, Rod Barajas, will join us in the top of the next inning. We'll talk to Rod about Javi and many, many other guys that he has seen this year.
Now, Chirinos love to throw behind runners. Very aggressive back there. That's on the scouting report. Freddie Galvis understands that as well.
Guerra's worked it full, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
To me, that's good because he exposed himself with that changeup earlier in the at bat. Then he takes it there to run even.
Of Jurado's first 14 pitches, only 7 have been strikes. Check on Galvis. So we mentioned Jurado has followed an opener a couple of times this year. One time it went very well for him. The other time it went very, very badly. And he couldn't actually complete an inning. Now, is that about following an opener, or is that just about being a young, inconsistent guy? Javi Guerra works himself a walk. He reaches base for the first time in his major league career.
Follow the race to the postseason on MLB.tv. For $25.99, watch every out-of-market regular season game. Plus, get a free subscription to MLB At Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv to take advantage of this limited time offer.
Padres electing to hit the pitcher 8th tonight, so it'll be Lauer here with runners on first and second, 1 away. Joey Gallo's home run in the top of this inning, the only run scoring so far. Padres trying to break through here against Ariel Jurado. Lauer gets the bunt down. Tough pitch to bunt, and Beltre's throw not perfect but handled well by Odor, and a successful sacrifice for Eric Lauer, his 5th of the year.
Yeah, I had to be careful with Lauer because this ball was tracing on him. And that's his pitching hand. Watch his pitching hand. The lower hand goes right in and then right down near that right thumb. It'll rattle the cage, but he successfully gets the bunt down, almost by defense.
Yeah, Delino DeShields missed time this year. He busted a middle finger on a bunt attempt. And he's one of the best bunters in the American League. Lauer does his job, though. Galvis now at third base. Guerra the trailer at second, and Jankowski, the number 9 hitter, takes strike 1. Travis batting 9th for the 4th time this year.
Big gap in right center. You can see if he shoots it through here, that's an easy triple. Travis Jankowski, and then they need that big hit with 2 outs to establish this offense. You watch the Rangers pitchers the last 2 nights, and it's a common theme. RBI situations, they're pitching backwards. Early breaking balls, off-speed pitch, the changeup, and going to the hard stuff with 2 strikes.
Padres in that game last night 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position. They left 6 men on base. Jurado got in front of Javi Guerra before eventually walking him, and now Travis Jankowski trying to fight his way back into a more even count. Fouls that one off at the plate. Still a ball and 2 strikes, and Jankowski knows going to give you a solid at bat down at the bottom of the order. And for a guy like Jurado, young, still trying to figure out his stuff, what his put away pitch is, there are opportunities even when you fall behind.
Yeah, he's just trying to find that mix, maybe a pitch sequence for him to maybe try that high fastball in this situation after 2 off-speed pitches.
He does, and he misses 2-2.
necessarily want to guess with him, but you can still sit on a fastball and let that off-speed pitch be elevated. That's the one you pull.
2-2 to Jankowski is outside into the count now full. Travis pinch hit in the 8th inning last night. Will Myers, the leadoff man tonight, waiting on deck.
Well, these Rangers have been throwing off-speed pitches in this scenario right here. Base open, why not?
Right down the middle, strike 3 called, and the first strikeout of the night for Ariel Jurado ends the 2nd inning. Of the season with Mark Sweeney, Bob Scanlon. I'm Jesse Agler, and very happy to welcome in now the manager of the El Paso Chihuahuas, Padres AAA affiliate in the Pacific Coast League, and a playoff team once again this year, Rod Barajas. Rod, thanks for joining us, and congratulations on another great year there in El Paso.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. My pleasure being here, and I'm excited to come out here and watch the boys play some baseball.
I was going to say, you walk into that clubhouse the other day after the Chihuahuas finished their playoff run. I think 25 of the 33 players in the clubhouse right now have played for you at some point in El Paso. That is a lot of familiarity.
Oh, it's great. You know, with my job title being the manager in AAA, my job is to, try to help get these guys up to the big leagues and to see the lockers, all the names, all the familiar faces, get all the hugs. That's a joy. That's why, I do what I do, and this is the excitement that I get coming to the ballpark and seeing all my former players out here getting dressed out.
Rod, obviously, I think for the viewers, they don't realize that those conversations and being able to send a young guy up to the big leagues for the first time is pretty special as a AAA manager. What's that like for you?
Oh, it's amazing. These guys have been fighting their whole lives to try to get to the big leagues, and for me to be that guy to deliver that special message, let them know that their childhood dreams are being realized. It's crazy emotional. Tears, hugs. A lot of special moments, and it's an honor to be that guy, to be able to, award these guys with all their hard work and effort and say, hey man, you're going to the big leagues.
You got to have that conversation 13 times this season, which is an incredible number as the Padres continue to take from your roster and put them up here. Obviously some big names down there. Luis Urias is a guy we've gotten a little bit of a look at here this season. Francisco Mejia. I'd like to ask you about the two of those guys, and we'll start with Mejia, who made the start last night. New to the organization, an opportunity for you to have him a little bit there in El Paso. What can you tell us about your experience with him?
Well, that's a tough transition for a catcher, going from one organization to another, not knowing the pitching staff, not knowing the coaches, the players. That's hard to do. I did that one time, going from Pittsburgh to LA, and you're in this whole different environment with guys you've never seen. So, but to his credit, he took on the the challenge of getting to know our guys down in AAA, caught bullpens. He had conversations with our pitching coach, Bronswell Patrick, and he wanted to come out here and have success, help the pitching staff out, and be a team player, and that's exactly what he did. He came with us, and within 2-3 days, it seemed like he's been here the whole season. So that's a testament on this kid and what he's all about, and what he can possibly bring to the table here in the big leagues.
How about Luis Urias coming up and knowing that there was some high expectations coming to the big leagues?
Well, I mean, special talent. He's got that hit tool. Doesn't go out of the strike zone. He did struggle a little bit early on with the strikeouts, but he made the adjustment. That's what you can ask. That's the only thing you can ask for. You're going to go to different levels, and you're going to face better pitching as you go up. And those good guys are going to bounce back. They're going to make that adjustment. They're going to figure out how to be successful, and that's what he did. And defensively, I heard he was a pretty good defensive second baseman, but what I saw was special. I mean, anytime a ball was hit on the ground and he was turning a double play, there was no doubt in my mind that it was getting turned. The range, going to his left, going to his right. This kid can do it all. He's a special player.
Rod, obviously, he has the hit tool, and I think a lot of people have seen in the game that the home run is very prevalent, even from a second base position. Did that change his approach at the beginning of the year?
I think so. I think a lot of players, it affects position players and pitchers playing in the PCL and playing in the hitter's park. The pitchers can be a little timid and not throw strikes, and position players try to do too much, try to hit the long ball, try to take advantage of these smaller stadiums or the stadiums where the wind blows out. And I think early on he was trying to do that. We finally kind of got the message through. Go out there and hit. If you hit one on the barrel and you have that right launch angle, it's going to go out of the ballpark. But that happens. That's something that happens, and the only thing you can do is deliver that message. And the special ones are going to listen to that message, and they're going to make the adjustments. And that's exactly what he did.
Rod, with the Padres kind of being in the position that they're in, and the number of young, talented players they have kind of knocking on the door, how much communication went on during this season between you and Andy Green, kind of talking about what was happening in El Paso?
Well, weekly conversations, at times a little bit more, at times a little less. Whenever something was going on and there was question marks of whether they'd need somebody up at the big league level, we'd have talks, and we'd go over, whatever the need was. And then, even if it wasn't an infielder, we talked a little about Urias, we talked about Mejia, we talked about the guys that we knew were up-and-comers who had a chance to contribute this year at the big league level. But the line of communication between me and Andy is great. You have to have that with the AAA and Major League level. And we were able to, pick up the phone and have conversations, chat about these guys, and try to figure out what the next best step was for the San Diego Padres.
Well, Rod, obviously this bullpen has changed, and it's a big-time flamethrowers down there, and a lot of them you had. Speak to some of the guys that you had down there and how proud you are of the bullpen arms.
Well, a lot of these guys came to us, and there were still some question marks. We got Wingenter early. He started with us, and early in the season, to be honest, he wasn't very good. The control wasn't there. He was scattering the baseball, a lot of misses arm side, and he kept working. Obviously, the velocity, he's got a big arm, and Bronzy, pitching coach, he stayed on these guys. He stayed on them, and you look at the finished product when he came up here. I mean, that's something special out there. Robert Stock, he came out of nowhere, just pumping fastballs, got a good slider, changeup, and he learned how to pitch. I mean, you can't come up to the big league level and just throw a fastball and expect to be successful. So, Robert Stock, the Rowan Wicks, all these guys came to us, and to see the improvement that they made, and how they weren't satisfied just being flamethrowers. They wanted to be, that complete pitcher, and that's what you need to be successful up here. And it was awesome to see these guys do it.
Two-out walk to Elvis Andrews after a couple of strikeouts for Eric Lauer. Now he's got to contend with Adrian Beltre again. Jeff Sanders in the Union Tribune had a nice piece today talking to you about some of those call-up conversations that Mark was alluding to earlier. Can you give us the short version of the Franmil Reyes story and what you told him when he was getting his first major league call-up?
Well, Franmil cheated me. He thought him and Franchi are really good. Franchi Cordero are really good friends, and Franchi told him ahead of time, hey, if Rod calls you in the office and he's kind of disciplining you and kind of scolding you, you're probably going to get called up. So he was on a tear. He was absolutely killing the baseball down there, and he had two at-bats back-to-back where he struck out with the base open. So I knew he was going up, but I felt like that was kind of my, that was the plot that I was going to go with. So I brought him in the office, and I told him, I'm like, what do you think they're going to do with you with the base open and 2 out? You think they're going to pitch to you? He's like, no. Ouch. And attaboy. So I told him, you know what, because you made 2 big outs right there, you're not playing tomorrow. And he's like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. I'm like, yeah, so you're going to have to talk to Andy Green about that, and hopefully he'll put you in the lineup.
Best part of the job, I'm sure. Rod, thank you so much.
All right, guys, thank you.
County Honda dealers. Rangers with a 1-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the 3rd inning, and the top of the order for the Padres coming up. Will Myers, the leadoff hitter tonight. First time we've said that since late June. Reyes and Renfroe to follow against Ariel Jurado, a starter who didn't start. Myers doubled on the very first pitch of the bottom of the 1st inning, but he was stranded. Padres have had runners in scoring position each of the first 2 innings, but have yet to break through against Texas. Our thanks again to Rod Barajas, El Paso manager, for joining us in the top of the inning. I never get tired of the stories of how guys get called up for the first time in their big league careers.
Yeah, it's tremendous, and Rod's done a very good job. Obviously, that's not an easy job, because not only are you sending guys up, but typically guys are coming back down, so you have to be a mental coach as well.
It's got to be one of the most difficult jobs in baseball, because as you said, you've got these young up-and-comers who are chomping at the bit, but in most cases on a AAA roster, you've also got, the 32-year-old who's just trying to hang on and at times can be an embittered guy, and you're trying to keep everybody together and as happy as possible, knowing that naturally everybody isn't pulling in the same direction.
Yeah, they have a feeling of what the organization's doing at the big league level, and they look at results. When you're at AAA, you're mentally saying, oh, why aren't I getting an opportunity? He keeps on striking out. He's struggling. He's hitting 200, or he's not throwing very well. Why aren't I getting the opportunity? So mentally, you have to have conversations. I think Rod Barajas has been through everything in his career as a former big leaguer.
Myers works the lead walk here in the bottom of the 3rd. Second one issued by Jurado. And we'll see if the Padres can bring it home this time. Here's Franmil Reyes. That's a good looking hitting streak. Also hit in 19 of the last 21 games. Rod Barajas telling us the story of calling up Franmil Reyes, trying to discipline him over a couple of bad strikeouts. Well, you're not going to be in my lineup tomorrow. That's Andy's problem.
I love it. Creative.
I feel like you always hear about the funny ones, but there are a lot of those conversations that are really emotional for these guys. And many are not afraid to share that. I know one of the ones Andy Green got to have when he was managing in the Diamondbacks minor league system was with David Peralta at AA Mobile some years back. And the story was basically Peralta was just in tears. Worked so hard, come to a new country, grew up in Venezuela, and realizing that dream. As good as it gets.
I think a lot of people don't realize it's a change of life for a lot of people. And obviously you're thinking about Latin players that have come up and been poor in the game of baseball, but they've played with passion. And then that call changes everything. And there's a lot of guys in the minor leagues that go through that grind that don't make a lot of money in the game of baseball.
Hard hit and foul from Reyes.
But they still have that passion for it, that drive. And I think it's a culmination of both what you've gone through, so many tough times, but there's so many relationships that you have in the minor leagues that are unforgettable. Even the good times and the bad. And Rod Barajas really meshes those all together and brings them, and hopefully they're a finished product coming to the big leagues.
He's had tremendous success managing that club, and that doesn't just mean developing talent. It means really rallying that community and that fan base. They're in the postseason every year. I got the great downtown ballpark in El Paso that we've been fortunate enough to see the last or 2 of the last 3 years, I guess, in spring training. Special relationship, certainly. Hard hit, and Beltre this time can't get there into left field for a base hit. Oh, you're talking to Rod in the top of the inning. Big play out in left field by Hunter Renfroe. It's our top tier play brought to you by Arco. And with a runner on and 2 out, Beltre stung this one. And how about the left fielder?
Yeah, going across your body for Hunter Renfroe. That's the toughest play. Remember, he shifted from right field to left field. And I think he is continuing to get better with that route efficiency. And a nice grab there, ending that inning.
Opportunity to do something at the bat here. Struck out against Claudio, the opener in the first inning. He's 0 for 1.
A lot of off-speed pitches, also down in the zone. So if you're the base runners on base, you have to look for that. Try to advance. All starts with Will Myers at second.
Padres have had opportunities in each of the first couple of innings, and again here in the third, but still trying to break through. Lead double in the first by Myers. Runners on first and second, 1 out in the second. And now runners on first and second with nobody out in the third. Renfroe's been swinging a good bat really the entire second half and then some. But in the hole now, 0-2.
Much improved approach. I think he's let the ball travel a little bit longer, which has enabled him to be a much better 2-strike hitter. 0-2 here. You're going to have to battle, maybe shorten up a little bit.
Myers and Reyes step off their leads. Padres won 1 game in Arlington back in June in that 3-game series, and Renfroe had a game-winning RBI double in the middle game of that series.
There's the ball in the dirt. Will Myers has to anticipate that. If you're a good base runner, that's what you're looking for. Even at second base, you can even see the signals. Sometimes get the multiple signals and you know what's coming. You can almost anticipate it a little bit easier.
Trinos makes it easy to see with the green paint. 2-2. Feels like every time you look up, Hunter Renfroe has gone 0-2 to 2-2. And on 2-2, he smokes one out towards deep center. DeShield's going to circle underneath of it to make the play. Myers will advance without a play, and now runners on the corners, 1 down.
Now, to your point, Jesse, just him getting back to even count and being able to apply pressure with 2 strikes and still enabling him to just miss a home run. Still advancing Will Myers to third base with 1 out.
Myers 90 feet away as Eric Hosmer stands in. Numbers with runners in scoring position for Hosmer about the same as they are overall for Eric this year.
Good time to sit off speed here. Why I say that is because he's trying to land that first pitch off speed.
A lot of pitches from Gerardo. This is only his second inning of work after the opener Claudio worked the first. And Hosmer to deep left. Gallo going back, running out of room. That is a 3-run homer. Eric Hosmer, what do you know, opposite field. And the Padres take the lead on his 17th of the year. 3-1 San Diego.
Now we saw the 3 home runs in Cincinnati for Eric Hosmer, all to center field and opposite field. And for Eric Hosmer, this has been the commitment. See the high fastball, but really good lower half. Watch his legs drive through the baseball, enabling that barrel to stay on top and driving it off the facade of the Western Metal Supply Company building. That is sweet.
So the Padres had been threatening all night. Finally, they break through and they've got a lead as Hedges laces one into left field for a base hit. Well, I talked about Gerardo being used after an opener. The last time out for him, it did not go very well. That was Sunday in Oakland. He recorded only 2 outs and allowed 5 runs on 4 hits. Previous time he was used after an opener was against the Angels at the beginning of the month, and he threw 4 shutout innings. So the question again is, Jeff Bannister having trouble with him because he's using him after an opener, or is it just because he's a 22-year-old kid still figuring out life in the big leagues?
Yeah, the mentality element really comes into play. You see Chirinos going out there and having a heart-to-heart conversation, trying to almost lock him in again. But that can be challenging. These young pitchers are trying to stick in the game. Jeff Bannister understands his challenges as well, even to manage a game like this.
Galvis pulled one through the right side his first time up. This one in the air the other way. Routine for Joey Gallo. And out number 2.
You know, Jesse, anytime you get shut out is an embarrassment factor, because you know you had opportunities for double plays last night for the Padres. But it's imperative to get out to a good start early in the game. Win those first 3 innings.
Hosmer's ensured the Padres will do that. Javi Guerra reached base for the first time in his big league career. And his first plate appearance tonight, that came back in the 2nd inning. Out in front, 0-1.
See that number 8, it reminds me of Mark Loretta so much. Those visuals that you have, middle infield. All-star second baseman here for the Padres. Still working in the organization.
Gerardo needed 24 pitches to get 3 outs in the 2nd. He's already thrown 24 more here in the 3rd. Guerra fouls that one back, and now 0-2 on the Padres shortstop. Might ask yourself, why is he displacing Freddie Galvis defensively tonight? And Andy Green has made it very clear over the last couple of years, when they bring somebody up for their first significant major league time, they want to try and make him as comfortable as possible. And so Guerra played mostly shortstop this season in El Paso, and that's where he is here in his first start in the big leagues. Chopper over to first base, and that is a foul ball. Kofar trying to sell it to the first base umpire, Ryan Blackney. That call belongs to the plate umpire in front of the bag. Very close. It was pretty slick from a guy who doesn't play a ton of first base. Another 0-2 to Guerra and another foul ball. Five straight foul balls off the bat of Javi Guerra. Another 0-2 and now a ball. Nice job by Chirinos keeping that one in front of him.
Well, much like Austin Hedges, you see Chirinos keeping it in front, but I think a lot of has to do with Javi Guerra making the adjustments, but also getting into a comfortable setup. And there's been a lot of change since he's come over from the Boston Red Sox. And sometimes it's difficult.
Another foul ball.
When you're making adjustments in the minor leagues, you're trying things. Sometimes you can get stuck in too many ruts, and then you start getting mental about challenging yourself, but also there's struggles. Austin Hedges has made some good adjustments. Javi Guerra is trying to do the same.
When all was said and done this year for Guerra at AAA El Paso, he played 122 games and hit .223 with 13 homers. Reaches for that one, and a tough play for Andrews. He can't make it. Guerra reaches, and depending on the official score, that might be the first hit in the major league career of Javi Guerra. It is.
Well, congratulations, Javi Guerra, battling with 2 strikes and just putting it in play. Isn't that refreshing? Talked about the strikeout earlier in this game, but putting it in play and pressing the defense.
Oh, they changed it. They're giving an error to Andrews now.
That's a surprising error, in my opinion. It's almost a do-or-die play, and Andrews usually makes those plays because he is very good defensively.
So for the moment at least, Javi Guerra's first major league hit will have to wait. I'm sure somebody sitting on their couch right now, Mark, he didn't want it to be an infield single off the shortstop.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he did. E6, although that is something that can be adjusted during the game, after the game. Either way, he's on first base for Eric Lauer. 2 on and 2 out, and Lauer lines that one right to Andrews. He is shorthanded this time, and the 3rd inning comes to a close. All smiles, though, for Eric Hosmer. A 3-run home run, his 17th of the year, and the Padres have put themselves in front as he goes oppo again. thanks to the 3-run homer from Eric Hosmer. Time now for our Valley View Casino trivia question. What is the Padres team record for most rookie pitchers used in a single season? Now, I've got a lot of thoughts.
So do we all. We all do, really. There's
First
a lot
of all,
of thoughts, but there might not be right thoughts.
Yeah, no, obviously. There's no way you could just know this off the top of your head. But Andy Green has rolled out a lot. I think 15 rookie pitchers this year. There's a couple, Nix and Lucchesi. So I feel like this year is a pretty good guess, but also I feel like that's too easy and too obvious. And you know Chiron Bob down in the truck, he's got the trivia machine all fired up. And he's coming up with these questions. Yeah, I feel like he wouldn't make it that easy on everybody. So my other thought is 1969, an expansion year. You know, an opportunity for a lot of guys to roll out there and make their major league debuts. Do you have thoughts?
I have a lot of thoughts. Jesse? I'm saying 15.
This year?
Yes.
Okay. So you don't think he's trying to double cross us?
Nope.
With some,
I'm going to go. He's simplifying it because I'm in the booth.
2-1 to Andrews. Lauer, once upon a time, was making his major league debut this year. He had to do so at Coors Field. It was 37 degrees and raining, as I recall.
Not your ideal place to pitch and make your debut.
Odor takes a good one. And now 2 balls and 2 strikes. They've run out of pine tar here at Petco, but if you need any, you can borrow from Odor. Lauer with 3 strikeouts in the first 3 innings. And this battle will continue. Boy, a lot of 2-strike foul balls tonight from both of these lineups.
Yeah, and you know what? Odor started the first 2 months hitting 200. You could see that average up to 262. That's a good second half. He's been much better.
Hard hit and caught. No big deal for Eric Hosmer over on the right side of the infield. 1 away in the top of the 4th. Time now for the AARP take on Jurickson Profar versus the Padres this season. And in 4 games against San Diego, he's hitting a cool .429. He hit the 2-run homer in yesterday's game. Padres finally got him out back in the 2nd inning. Lauer induced a ground ball to Will Myers. And Will made a nice play over at third base. Profar had been slumping on this road trip for the Rangers. 3 for 18 going into the game yesterday, but 3 for 4 with the home run last night. And this one's hit pretty well out to left, but right at Renfroe. And just like that, 2 down in the top of the 4th inning. Joey Gallo coming up, hit a home run his first time. And if you look at the highest home run per batted ball rate in baseball this year, only Max Muncy of the Dodgers has a higher percentage than does Joey Gallo. That's basically you put a ball in play, does it leave the yard? What percentage of the time does it do so?
Home run or nothing here at Home Run Derby.
That's it. You mentioned Gallo's good numbers against left-handed pitching this year with power, more home runs than anybody else in the American League against left-handed pitchers. Nolan Arenado leads baseball. You know who's got the 2nd most?
Trevor Story.
Christian Villanueva.
Really?
Still the 2nd most home runs this season against left-handed pitching. Overall, 37 on the season. Everybody's chasing Chris Davis and the most interesting team in baseball, the Oakland Athletics.
Now, Chris Davis, 3 straight years with over 40 home runs. A lot of people don't even know who Chris Davis is because he plays up in Oakland.
Or they think he's the guy from Baltimore. Hard hit and caught. 3-line drives, 3 outs, 3 up and 3 down here in the 4th. finish back on August 16th. You don't see him very often. This is going to end up being a triple play started by Jerks and Profar over at third base. Some not great base running here by Taylor Ward, but I love a triple play.
I do too. Should be on a Tom Mansky video.
Your favorite part of the Tom Mansky videos?
When you see Fred McGriff with that ugly hat, that foamed hat.
Me too. That's what I was going to say. It's
I
about
love Fred McGriff, though.
6 inches on top of his head, just placed gently. Jankowski leading off in the bottom of the 4th inning. Padres with a 3-1 lead. 3-run homer by Hosmer, solo homer by Gallo. There's your scoring summary. For those too young to remember the Tom Mansky videos, they were these instructional videos they used to be on all the time, you know, during your favorite highlight shows. And it was like you ordered the VHS for $19.99, whatever it was. The cash or money orders are accepted, and they came in, and you got your tape, and it showed you all the great fundamentals in baseball.
The outfielders had to throw 1 hops into the trash barrel.
That's right. And Fred McGriff wore a terrible hat.
I did hear something about Fred McGriff with that, though. He did not get paid for that
at
commercial.
All?
No.
But they were the back-to-back-to-back AAU national champions.
They should have doubled it with the hat that he had to wear.
Prime dog. It's funny because I recently was in an event here at the ballpark for the Padres, and I bring up the Mansky video with some regularity just because it makes me laugh. And I saw some of the people who are younger than I am giving me the blank stares. And I was like, oh man, there are baseball fans now of a certain age who have no idea what I'm talking about.
I mean, you got to know your audience, which is obvious.
Jankowski punched out by Gerardo, and 1 down here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Travis has struck out twice now against Gerardo, the only 2 strikeouts that he's got in this game. Talked a lot about the opener that the Rangers have used in the first 2 games of this series. They will not use an opener tomorrow. Mike Minor, the veteran left-hander, will be used as a traditional starting pitcher tomorrow. They have assured us, they've promised us that there will be no opener tomorrow. But it really is such an interesting thing because we have seen sea changes in baseball the last couple of years. I think the shift on the infield is the most visible and obvious. And what a play by Profar over at first. No shift needed. My goodness, laying out. He didn't play any first base first couple months of the season, but he looked like a seasoned veteran right there, and 2 down in the 4th inning.
A pretty incredible play going to his left. Off the bat of a right-hander that slices, and you could see him outstretched and making a very nice play. An unassisted play at first.
That was some tough luck for Myers, who had been aboard twice with a double, a walk. Now Franmil. I guess my thought with the opener is, will it go the way of the pitcher batting 8th, which was a really hot trend and has cooled off significantly? Or will it go the way of the defensive shift where everybody's doing it all the time? Beltre plays that one perfectly. Ray is hustling, but he got it. Andy Green will hold things up just to make sure on the replay at first base. But Beltre making another nice one over at the hot corner. And it looks like it'll be a 1-2-3 bottom of the 4th. Andy will not challenge. We go to the 5th. Padres leading 3-1. T-Mobile earlier today at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Hey, you remember how last night Yasiel Puig hit 2 home runs against the Cardinals? I suppose he decided that wasn't enough. He hit 3 this afternoon, and the Dodgers have taken 3 in a row in St. Louis. They'll go for the 4-game sweep tomorrow against the Redbirds. That is a pretty remarkable run for Yasiel Puig.
It sure is, and the Dodgers needed it. I mean, going into St. Louis after a very bad series in Cincinnati. They were 1-6 against the Cincinnati Reds this year, including getting swept up at Dodger Stadium.
So funny, at the beginning of September you feel like you know everything, and then a week or two goes by and the world just can get turned upside down for some of these teams. And the Dodgers, after that win, I think 100th of a point behind the Rockies, so basically tied for first in the NL West. And Chirinos hit by a pitch here on 0-2 to lead off in the 5th. And Colorado is losing in San Francisco again. The Giants up 3-0 in the 4th inning. San Francisco couldn't get anything going, and now they beat the Rockies once, leading again, and you see a virtual tie atop the National League West at this moment. And if the Rockies cannot come from behind in San Francisco, the Dodgers will be up by half a game.
Yeah, I always say it, Jesse. I think about the teams that go against teams that are being the spoiler. Well, there's no pressure on the spoiler. There's a lot of pressure on the team that has to win that night, and they're scoreboard watching.
Corrado has not had a major league plate appearance. It appears as though he's going to bunt. He does, and it's a good one. Hosmer thought about it, but he'll take the short out. And a successful sacrifice in Ariel Jurado's first major league plate appearance. Nicely done.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the San Diego Padres. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the San Diego Padres.
Just to go back to the Rockies and the Dodgers and Arizona obviously hanging around, to say the least. But I mean, it was, I think, 4 days ago, everybody was hashtag Rocktober. You know, here we go again with the Rockies, and now all of a sudden things tightening up a little bit in Colorado.
Rockies and Bud Black are still looking for their first division title. That sometimes is elusive because it's very difficult to play in Colorado, especially the wear and tear on the pitching staff. But it has been the pitching staff that has got them into the position they are in.
Yeah, they got some real deal young arms. I don't think there's any question about that. The Shields in the air, right field. Franmil makes the play. No tag attempt by Chirinos, and now 2 down in the top of the 5th. All right, we're going to answer our Valley View Casino trivia question. Padre team record for most rookie pitchers used in a single season. You guessed 15 this season. Oh!
See, I knew it. I knew he was going to go with the simple answer.
If you're watching and you got that right without looking it up.
I think we should put a camera on Chiron Bob, and when I answer, when I give my answer,
you think
I
he's
would
very
like
happy
to see
right
his
now?
reaction. He's laughing.
He's rubbing his hands together.
He knows exactly that I have no chance.
He never goes simple, does he?
No.
It's
and he
never
should.
an obvious answer. Wow. That's a lot of rookie pitchers, by the way. 2 outs, runner on second base for Shin-Soo Choo. And now part 2 of the question, of course, is can you name all 21?
I can't name them, but I'll tell you what. Spencer Dallin and the guys in the clubhouse would probably say that's a lot of names that I have to stitch on new jerseys. They already do a fabulous job, but that's extra work.
I think Jake Peavy was 1 that year.
I'm going to say Oliver Perez was another.
There you go.
Yeah.
So we got 19 left.
Yeah, I don't know. Brian Lawrence. B-Law. I remember one other. Dennis Tankersley.
Oh.
And you know why I remember him? Because Barry Bonds hit a home run off him that is the farthest ball I've ever seen hit. He hit it off the scoreboard in right center. And I've never seen anyone even hit a ball on the concourse. It hit the scoreboard on the left side of the big scoreboard at Qualcomm.
Wow. Chu strikes out, and Lauer with another scoreless frame. Eric Lauer is through 5, and the Padres have a 2-run lead. And by Jack in the Box. This season, Padres home runs score free jumbo jacks only at Jack in the Box. Eric Lauer is through 5, and that is a good thing. Talked about it coming in, the efficiency, the pitch count, all of that. He's been good. He just hasn't, since coming back from the DL, been able to work deep into games.
Well, Andy Green has shifted Eric Lauer to this spot. Also, Robbie Erlin last night, because he can get to that spot where his next start's going to be against the Dodgers. So you wonder how long he is going to go with Eric Lauer. Gary getting to the 5th, and he's been very efficient.
79 pitches for Lauer so far. He needed 86 to get through 4 innings in his last start against the Reds. Renfroe, Hosmer, and Hedges coming up here in the 5th inning. Definitely a step forward for Eric Lauer. And has still allowed, what, only 1 earned run now in those 3 starts since coming off the disabled list. Hosmer golfing that one out to shallow right field. Odor, the second baseman, is not going to be there, and Profar makes another phenomenal play. He had the diving stop on the ball hit by Myers last inning, and well, usually see the second baseman come over and make that play, but excellent by Jurickson Profar.
Well, he does have the big glove. You see the flash look at the stands and contending to that. It shortens up down there on the right field line. And making a nice catch and a nice defensive play.
Profar's played all over the diamond for the Rangers. And looking pretty comfortable over at first base. 30th start of the season there tonight. He was there yesterday as well. He made his first start of the season at first base against the Padres back in June. Eric grounded out his first time, and then of course the big hit in the 3rd inning. Brought home Myers and Reyes with the 3-run homer, his 17th of the year. Hard hit again and just foul. Pretty good stuff last time up for Eric Hosmer.
It sure was, and obviously when you're seeing that power the opposite way, that's when Eric is at his best. He has said that, and obviously in a Royals uniform, it was very accustomed to see him go left center. This one right down the line, and it was a big home run. Padres got shut out last night.
Going the other way, nothing new for Eric Hosmer. More opposite field hits than anybody else in the National League this year.
You know, earlier in the year, every team that came in almost assumed that you were going to get fastballs in for Haas. You know, now he's starting to make that adjustment. When they make that mistake, he has capitalized and done a very good job this second half going the other way.
He has openly talked about trying to hit the ball in the air more here in the final month of the season. A lot of what was discussed when the Padres signed Hosmer this winter was the ground ball rate, and he was asked about it. He goes, hey, look, I am who I am. I'm the hitter. I am. But he's opened up about it. He said, I've been working on adjustments all season long, and he is going to try and hit the ball in the air more, he says. These last few weeks, see how it goes.
It's so much easier to make those adjustments in the offseason rather than make wholesale changes, especially when you're taking on a new opportunity. Signing a free agent deal, coming over here, already has a resume. So you go with what works. But every player's mentality is making adjustments. And those are easier in the offseason.
Strikes out here. And Gerardo has his third of the night.
And I see the changeup just fading away and off the plate. One hand off the bat for Eric Hosmer. Almost selling out for that fastball.
All of a sudden, 6 in a row retired by Gerardo, and Hedges goes down to one knee and skies it to deep left. Just foul.
You know, we've talked about the bullpenning and the openers all night long. But if you're watching this game at home, you don't even know that Alex Claudio started tonight. It's really gone away. And that's something that I think is a concern if you're thinking about the fan thought process in watching a game. It's not necessarily the starter that you're looking for. Obviously Kershaw and Scherzer you're thinking about in the National League.
Hedges scalds that one into center field for another base hit. It was hard hit in the third, hard hit again here in the fifth for Hedges, and a 2-out single. It's interesting you say that, and it's an argument, I guess, that I've heard from a lot of people, that you lose those marquee pitching matchups, and like you said, if Scherzer is on the hill, if Kershaw is on the hill, if Verlander's on the hill, you're going to buy a ticket to that game. But I just don't know how many of those guys there actually are in reality.
And are they, to your point, Jesse, and you're right, there are less and less aces, and those are guys that you expect to go 9 innings, expect to win. But when it comes down to it, I think these teams need to still have those guys. And obviously that's a formula for success when you're thinking about guys that can pitch that first game of the World Series or 7th game when you get to an even series and you expect to win. There's a big thing about that.
I guess the real problem could come if teams started developing exclusively guys, you know, to kind of fit into this mold. And I don't know that anybody is thinking that way, at least as of yet. The other interesting thing is there will come a point, if this continues to work, and it looks like it has in a lot of ways this year, although I don't think the jury is all the way back on it, that everybody's going to copy, as they did with the shift, as they did with whatever other little thing we've seen in the last few years. And when that happens, there's no real advantage anymore. If everybody's doing it, it just sort of is what it is. You lose the edge. Right now, Tampa has an edge because of how often they've done it. But at some point, it'll just be the way things are done, at least for a number of years. And it's like shifting right now. You're not doing anything differently than everybody else.
Well, you look at the Rays, and obviously the Texas Rangers have done it in this series, 2 back-to-back nights. But the Rays have Blake Snell, 19-game winner, and he makes it a little easier for that process.
That one is off of Gerardo and into center field. Good read by Hedges. He's going to make it all the way to third base. And the Padres trying to make a little 2-out trouble for Ariel Gerardo here in the fifth.
Now, you're right, Jesse. That was a very good read by Austin Hedges. With 2 outs, not knowing that he has a lot of speed, but it makes the right choice. And how he makes that choice is Freddie Galvis, his second hit on the night, working the middle of the field. And then you see Austin Hedges just scampering to third base. This is his read. Obviously, he's not looking at Glenn Hoffman, the third base coach. It's on his own. Ball's in front of him, but first and third for the Padres with 2 outs.
Javi Guerra with another opportunity to pick up his first major league hit. We thought he did last time. Official score charged an error to Elvis Andrus on a slow roller to shortstop. So he's technically 0 for 1 with a walk. With great regularity in baseball, they go back and change decisions by official scorers days later. Might be weird to do that on what could be a first major league hit. Little floater, and backing up Andrus to make the play. That moment will still have to wait for Javi Guerra. Through 5 at Petco. Padres by a pair.
Lauer has had success with his slider. Coming into the start, only throwing it 5.4% of the time. But you can see against the lefty Shin-Soo Choo, he exposes him. And had some success, but also Shin-Soo Choo is looking for that fastball in. And that's been a very effective pitch for him tonight. 79 pitches. He has been efficient in pitching into the 6th inning.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing. We talked about it right at the start of the game tonight. Padres hoping to see Lauer work deeper into the game, and through 5 on 79 pitches. First one here in the 6th is missing down and into Elvis Andrus. Beltre and Odor to follow, so 3rd time through against the heart of the Ranger batting order, but pitching with a 2-run lead. That one is stung and just over Galvis into center field for a base hit. Boy, we've become so accustomed to Freddie Galvis making every single play on the infield. And maybe if he was a half-inch taller.
Always doing it with a smile, but you can see the fastball away, the 4-seamer. Andrus does a nice job getting on top of that fastball, just out of the stretch. Freddie Galvis, he got up there. I think he can dunk.
Tremendous athlete. Hasn't had a lot of action over at second base tonight, but I was watching him during BP. It will not be a problem for Freddie Galvis. A check on Andrus. Even saw Freddie taking some ground balls at third base before the game today.
You know what? He's so smart and he adapts to everything. He just loves playing the game of baseball. I love watching him play short, but he wants to play. That's the priority. Obviously, his favorite position is shortstop.
Another check on the runner, Andrus.
You made a good point, Jesse. I mean, I think Andy Green understands he wants to play Javi Guerra in his natural position.
That's going to be the end of Lauer's night. A lot of arms available here in September, and Andy Green not shy. He goes to the bullpen as Eric Lauer departs. Padres with a 2-run lead with a tying run at the plate here in the top of the 6th inning. Nicely done by the young left-hander.
Network home for Thursday night football. And the schedule we have on Fox this year is loaded. One huge can't-miss matchup after another. Thursday night football coming to Fox week 4. Now it's a game.
Eric Lauer had himself a game, 5+. He has so far allowed a run on 3 hits, though he is responsible for Elvis Andrus over at first base. And Trey Wingeter, who started all of the fun on Wednesday afternoon in Seattle, is the first man out of the pen tonight.
Well, we heard his AAA manager Rod Barajas talk about the improvements that Trey has made. I think everything has to do with his fastball and how much he improves on his secondary stuff. Been very good at the big league level.
16th major league appearance, and he gets to face a guy who's got over 3,100 career hits. Beltre backing away from that slider and taking a ball. Adrian's 0 for 2. Great catch by Hunter Renfroe out in left field in the 3rd inning on a ball that he struck pretty well.
And I think that went into the decision making for Andy Green, making that adjustment.
Beltre again buckled by the slider, this time a called strike, 1-1.
Remember last night they doubled up against Beltre. You got to be careful in situations like this. He almost sits on a secondary pitch once he sees it.
It's a fastball, but it misses, and the count swings in his favor.
Yeah, I like that because Austin Hedges behind there knows that situation he went through last night against Colton Brewer, back-to-back sliders. And the second one was a double, a ringing double to left field.
Two and two to Beltre. Mentioned Wingeter starting all the fun on Wednesday. It really was one of the most remarkable things we have seen all season. Wingeter came on in the 6th inning. He struck out the side. Robert Stock and Jose Castillo combined to do the same in the 7th, and then Craig Stammen in the 8th. They struck out 9 straight guys, 4 different Padre relievers.
Pretty incredible. Swing and miss stuff out of the bullpen.
All fastballs from Wingeter in those strikeouts.
Oh, nice job by Austin. Really smothering that baseball.
So Beltre, the likely Hall of Famer, has worked the count full. Andrus is running, and the pitch is high, ball 4. Lauer walked 1 in his 5 innings, and now Wingeter walks the first guy that he sees. Eric did also hit a couple of batters. And another pitching change as Andy Green wants the left-hander to face Rougned Odor. 2 on and nobody out here in the 6th. The Rangers are threatening, down by 2.
And he appears to be that guy. He's been that guy from the second he showed up. And you know, when he's pitching in a down 4 game, because we've got to pitch him there, I look up and he's throwing 89 to 93. And when I look up when he's facing Robinson Cano, it's up at 97, and there's depth to the slider and real bite. He's going to find a way on those down games to pitch and pitch well. But big situations, he's made for him and he loves them.
Andy Green talking about Jose Castillo, who's coming in. He's not allowed to run in his last 9 outing, guys, and he's been outstanding with runners on base. He's only allowed 7% of the runners he's inherited to score. He's been absolutely outstanding, and as Andy says, it's not just the stuff, it's the moxie that he shows, especially with the game on the line.
Well, it's a middle innings appearance here, but obviously in a huge spot with a 2-run lead and a couple of guys on base with nobody out.
There's no situation too big for him, in my opinion.
Eric Lauer started. Wingeter faced 1 batter and walked him. Been a lot of fun seeing so many young guys get into the mix this year. Castillo is encouraging as anyone. Shallow left, and it'll be Garrett making the play, and that's out number 1 here in the 6th.
Think about Javi Guerra, obviously big glove, but he is holding the runner on at second base and gets out to short left field very quickly. Makes it an easier play for him, but also Hunter Renfroe, who is playing deeper in the outfield. Just some of those things we really haven't seen live. Seen them in spring training, but tonight, very impressive.
So 2 on now, 1 out, and the switch hitter Profar turned around to bat right-handed against Castillo. Padres grounded into 4 double plays in last night's game, a Ranger win. Still looking to see Texas ground into a DP for the first time in the series. Profar more doubles and more triples than any other Ranger. A dangerous hitter, certainly. And a good fastball, 1-1.
He hit the fastball out left-handed last night for the 2-run home run.
Andrus at second, Beltre at first, 1 away here in the 6th inning. All 4 runs in this game have come on homers. One and 2.
Well, that's what you got to like. He took an aggressive approach on the fastball, and a lot of pitchers will go to that off speed to back that up because of the fastball. Can't really react off the swing. You have to react off the location. I think Austin Hedges wanted that in a different spot, but still being aggressive with the fastball. Now he's set up for the breaking ball.
You see not only the series of signs from Hedges, but also the body signs. And a slow roller. Castillo's going to have to field the play on his own, and he has no play. Good idea just to hold on to it, yeah. Meanwhile, the bases are going to be loaded with Joey Gallo coming up.
That was off the front of the plate and had some weird spin on it. When Castillo ends up fielding this, his momentum is going towards that third base dugout. See him right that step right there. If he launches that, that's in right field.
Infield single for Profar. Little dribbler causing some trouble for Castillo. Gallo's homer in the 2nd inning, responsible for the only Texas run so far tonight. And first pitch swinging to Hosmer. He's coming home for a force there. They got it. Hedges will not have a play at first, but this is still a 3-1 game. And how about Eric Hosmer deep at first base, getting the out at the plate.
Jesse, he is so good and accurate with his throwing arm. This ball takes him to his left. You can see him playing on the backhand, set up to make an accurate throw to Austin Hedges to get that force out. You got to credit Gallo getting down the line. I thought Austin had a good shot at him, but he has good speed for the big man.
It also goes back to a similar thing as the play with Castillo. You know, if it's not a good throw, it could tie the game. And maybe just take your chances with the number 8 hitter, Robinson Chirinos. Base is still loaded, but now 2 down. Just a little bit low.
Good slider.
Very low batting average in his career with the bases loaded. Now 2 balls and no strikes. Chirinos hit by a pitch his last time. Popped up in the 2nd inning. That's how he's 0 for 1. Pinch hitter Isaiah Kiner-Falefa waiting in the on deck circle if it gets to him.
Well, again, back-to-back sliders. Gets to 2-0, and he still has the confidence to land that off-speed pitch. Chirinos, a good fastball hitter. Doesn't mean you can't throw it. But he has that pull power. 17 home runs on the year.
He does struggle with the pitch up, but if you miss, bad things can happen. And that one is going to get down. Off the top of the wall, a couple of runs have scored. Here comes Gallo. Throw to the plate from Guerra up the line. A 3-run double for Robinson Chirinos. And the Rangers take the lead back 4-3.
Well, he did have back-to-back sliders, and he goes with that fastball middle away. Credit Chirinos. Nice job with handling that fastball away. Shoots this in the gap. Remember, Joey Gallo hustling down that line. That was the factor with the bases clearing double.
Second big hit of the night for the Rangers. The Gallo homer, now the 3-run double by Chirinos, and Jose Castillo has to flush that and get to work now on the pinch hitter Kiner-Falefa. Lauer charged with a couple of those runs. Book now closed on him, wing it or the other. And the fastball misses 1-0. Castillo is close to the clean getaway. Didn't get it, and now this one is hit well towards the right field corner. That'll get down in fair territory. That'll get another run home. Kiner-Falefa pulling into second, back-to-back run-scoring doubles, and the Rangers add another. 5-3 Texas here in the 6th.
Now Kiner-Falefa does a nice job going the other way. Fastball away. Just shoots this into the right field corner.
So Kiner-Falefa on second now for Delino DeShields Jr. and the leadoff hitter takes strike 1 from Jose Castillo. And now Robert Stock, the hard-throwing right-hander, is up and warming for the Padres. DeShields single to start the game. Since then, a strikeout and a flyout. All of that was against Eric Lauer. He is the 8th man to bat here in the inning. Andy Green has gone to the bullpen twice here in the 6th. Now 3-1.
And that velocity on the fastball has really been down tonight. We've seen Castillo at times throw 97. He's been 91 with the fastball, 93. Obviously, the location has not gone along with the fastball velocity.
And that is ball 4. Obviously, Jose Castillo not looking like himself at this point, and he'll get a visit from pitching coach Darren Balsley. As much as anything, a moment to breathe, I think.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Darren Balsley will give him. Jose Castillo needs that, understands he's got one pitch to get out of the inning. You got to go back to the Adrian Beltre at bat. Trey Wingenter comes in, and it's a 2-2 pitch. It was a 2-2 slider that he doesn't land, and then he goes back to the slider 3-2. Puts him on and sets up the inning offensively for the Rangers.
Chu's had a rough night, struck out his last 2 times against Lauer. Swings and misses there, 0-1. He is the 9th man to come to bat for Texas here in the 6th inning. Tap foul at the plate. Still no balls in. 2 strikes on Chu. An all-star for the first time in his career this season. Oh, 2 from Castillo. Did he check? He did. Kiner Falefa at second, DeShields at first, 2 away, and Castillo trying to stop the bleeding here in the 6th. Chu takes, and now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Chu does a lot of DHing for the Rangers. Obviously not an option here at Petco. He was in left field last night, right field tonight. And on 2-2, he lines one up the middle. That'll be a base hit. Kiner Falefa being waved around third. He'll come in and score, and the Rangers have had it another here in the 6th inning. And another pitching change. Lauer, Wingeter, Castillo have all worked here in the 6th. And now another reliever coming in for Andy Green, with the Padres trailing by 3.
And Robert Stock has really improved his secondary stuff, especially the slider and changeup.
Andrews started all the trouble with a base hit against Eric Lauer to start the inning. And the slider from Stock misses outside, 1-0. Wingeter came on. He walked the only batter he faced. Then Jose Castillo had troubles and only able to get a couple of outs. All three previous pitchers have been charged with runs this inning. And now 1-1. Chopper to third and foul. So a ball and 2 strikes on Elvis Andrews here in the top of the 6th. Stock, a pitcher and a catcher at SC. Drafted by the Cardinals. Bounced all over the place, including independent ball, really remaking himself as a hard-throwing pitcher. Uses the off-speed, though, to strike out Andrews and finally bring this 6th inning to a close. But the Rangers score 5 times. Shelter to these families. Donate today by going to redcross.org or text Florence to 90999 to give $10 to American Red Cross Hurricane Relief. Here in San Diego, the Rangers a 6-3 lead on the Padres after a 5-run, 10-batter top of the 6th inning. And Padres now going to try and come from behind. And a 3-1 lead going to the top of this inning. And Martin Perez is on to face Padre pinch hitter Jose Pirela.
Perez had 13 starts on the season. He went 2-6 with a 6.95 ERA. That's a reason why opportunity knocks in the bullpen.
Left-hander delivers a fastball low to Pirela, who is hitting here for the pitcher in the number 8 spot. So Robert Stock came out, put out the fire in the top of the inning. Will face just the one batter. Pirela got the start at second base last night. He was 1 for 3, also grounded into one of those 4 double plays that the Padres hit into. Takes a strike, and out 2-1 from Perez. Chasing and now 2-2. Mark mentioned Perez pulled out of the rotation at the end of August. He had not pitched in a relief role since September of 2012. That's a long time.
Yeah, and you think about where he is mentally and coming in with this opportunity, maybe it helps him. Sometimes those starters that go to the bullpen have that aggression. Sometimes they hold back a little bit as a starter. They get in trouble because of that.
Pirela just trying to get on base, get something going, and after a big inning like that, it can sometimes feel like you're in a huge hole. It's only a 3-run game right now.
Yeah, you almost have to answer back emotionally as an offense, especially coming off getting shut out last night.
Jankowski, the number 9 hitter tonight, waiting on deck. Payoff pitch is high to Pirela, and a leadoff walk for the Padres here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Travis struck out twice against the primary, Ariel Jurado. Fouls this one off, 0-1. After Alex Claudio worked a scoreless first inning, Jurado came on, went 4, allowed 3 runs on 6 hits. Through 85 pitches, gave up the 3-run homer to Eric Hosmer, and so far tonight, that is the only run-producing play for the Padres in this game. Number 17 for Haas. Travis, by the way, is top 10 in stolen bases in the National League. As a part-time off-the-bench kind of guy. That's how good he's been in that department this year. Behind in the count now, a ball and 2 strikes. Two and 2 to Jankowski. Perez looked frustrated himself after that one. Two and 2 to Travis, and another foul ball.
And Perez's command has been all over the place. Makes it very difficult. That effectively wild. Has velocity on his fastball, but has a lot of command issues. Maybe that's the reason why he's in the bullpen.
After another foul ball, it'll be another 2 and 2 to Jankowski, and this time a ground ball to second. Odor gets one. Gotta hurry. Travis running. They do, and they got him. Another double play.
Now 4 double plays last night. You see the middle infield. They have such good chemistry. Let's tell where Andrews has the ability to just reach back. Just barely get Travis Jankowski down the line.
A lot of games with Odor and Andrews up the middle for the Rangers. So now 2 outs and the bases empty. Top of the order for Will Myers. And Perez can go back to his full windup. First pitch swinging, ground ball to Andrews. That will end the 6th. Padres get the leadoff walk, but do not score. Joey Gallo with his 37th home run of the season, one out in the second inning, gave the Rangers a 1-0 lead. Eric Hosmer, though, would answer back a 3-run shot in the third, put the Padres in front. Texas, though, a big sixth inning, 3-run double by Robinson Chirinos. And the next man up after that, the pinch hitter, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, an RBI double of his own. They would add another on an RBI single by Shin-Soo Choo in the sixth. And Texas a 6-3 advantage as we go to the seventh inning. Ariel Jurado didn't start, but he was essentially the starter for the Rangers. Gave up only that home run to Eric Hosmer. And Eric Lauer, pretty solid 5 innings, but the bullpen behind him had some rare struggles tonight.
And it is rare. And obviously here comes Matt Strom in to the game to try to keep the score where it is. To your point, Jesse, it's not that far away.
Got to start things off with Adrian Beltre. He walked and scored in that big inning, and he takes the curveball low. All this talk about openers and different ways to use relief pitchers. Boy, Matt Strom is an interesting piece for Andy Green moving forward. Says he's going to prepare to start come spring training and to compete for a rotation spot, and he's got great stuff. But if he doesn't end up in the Padre rotation, this is a guy that can be used in almost any role.
Sure can. And obviously he's that hybrid guy. Think of Josh Hader in Milwaukee. If he doesn't enable himself in that starting rotation, he could be that weapon that Josh Hader is for the Milwaukee Brewers.
In on the hands now, 3-1 to Beltre. He is unique. I mean, who else has that much fun with a pitch that came in on the hand?
I love the dancing feet.
Pops it up. Hosmer, Hedges, Strom all tracking it. He'll end up behind the dugout. Never stops moving, Adrian Beltre. Payoff pitch is hammered to left field. That will be another base hit for Adrian Beltre. Into the left field corner. A couple of doubles in his last 2 at-bats last night. And he will walk into second with a 2-base hit to lead off here in the 7th tonight.
Now, tip of the cap. 2 of them last night, ringing doubles down that left field line. See the breaking ball just getting out front, but knowing what he has to do with it. Almost seems like he was looking for that pitch.
Putting some more distance between himself and George Brett for the most hits ever by a guy who primarily played third base. Odor 1 hit last night, 0 for 3 today. Takes strike 1 from Strom. Rangers had a couple of big doubles in the 6th inning and now a lead double here in the 7th. There have been a lot of pitches thrown in this game. Strom came out to start this 7th inning. Padres had Lauer, Wingeter, Castillo, and Stock to get 3 outs in the 6th. Did you ever go sans undershirt?
I did not. I didn't think that was appropriate. I didn't want to embarrass the ball club. How about you? Would you rock that look?
You know, not that I could, but yes.
You would.
Like if I was cool enough, yeah, I would do it. I heard Tommy Medica a few years ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he had no need for the undershirt.
I saw his belly button one time he took a swing.
He had what, 2 buttons done on the jersey? There's something kind of old school about it, I think. I don't know. Back our way.
It is old school.
Like before they invented undershirts.
But I tell you what, the fabric on these unis, I'm saying, are a little bit better than old school unis.
The wool.
Yeah.
In the middle of the summer in St. Louis.
That wouldn't work.
Odor strikes out. And one away here at the top of the 7th inning.
You can see working around, and a very good slider stop. Starting on that outside edge, working way off the plate, exposing Odor with 2 strikes.
Here's Profar. He's had a very nice series. Scored a run last inning. He's made a couple of stellar defensive plays tonight. 3 hits yesterday, including the home run. Rangers now 4 for 13 with runners in scoring position in this game tonight. And to me, the number there is 13. It's the 7th inning. And already 13 at bats with a man in scoring position.
Yeah, too many opportunities.
That one's hit pretty well out to straightaway center, but Travis Jankowski is there. Out number 2, Beltre will not try in advance. Rangers pretty much locked into a last place finish in the American League West, but all around the rest of the junior circuit, some incredible individual performances this year. And you talk about American League MVP candidates in 2018. I mean, take your pick.
Yeah, take your pick, and you can add to that list as well. I think there's. Everyone expects Mike Trout. He had that DL stint that I think is going to hurt him a little bit, but it doesn't hurt him with the numbers. Almost been better this year. But Mookie Betts to me sticks out. I think that's the list. And Alex Bregman has been excellent for the world champs. Jose Ramirez has 38 home runs from the 3rd base, and now he's a 2nd baseman with Josh Donaldson going over there.
2 outs and a runner on 2nd base for Joey Gallo.
You know, the last guy on that list is JD Martinez, which a lot of people say a DH shouldn't win the MVP, but he's been so good, and he still has an opportunity to win the Triple Crown. And if he does, I think he wins it, because he's going to top over Mookie Betts in batting average.
There's always the possibility too that Betts and Martinez kind of split votes, being teammates. That could benefit one of the other guys.
And the guys that aren't on that list, Matt Chapman for the A's has had a tremendous year, but also Francisco Lindor for the Cleveland Indians. And Ramirez, Lindor, they'll take votes away from each other as well.
Big shift against Gallo. Hit the solo homer back in the 2nd inning. His 37th of the year.
Oh, Jesse, I think it's just so cool that you start talking about the Oakland A's and the type of talent they have. Obviously, the team's done well. You think about an MVP candidate, Matt Chapman. That bullpen is excellent. In a 1-game playoff, I don't think you want to go against that bullpen.
Yeah, you talk about using an opener. I mean, they basically just collected every closer they possibly could from around the league. That should be strike 3. It should be the top of the inning, and it is. Matt Strom holds the line. Stretch time at Petco. Opening in 2019, Saquon's brand new 300-room resort and hotel. By your San Diego Honda dealers. Visit us at sdhondadealers.com. And by CarShield. Bottom of the 7th inning, Martin Perez out there for his 2nd inning of work out of the Ranger bullpen. Former starter can certainly give him some innings. Big Franmil Reyes leading off, and he takes a fastball strike. Reyes to be followed by Renfroe and Hosmer as the Padres try and get the offense kick-started here in the bottom of the 7th. All 3 runs came on one swing by Hosmer back in the 3rd. Talked a little bit about it last night, but one of the disadvantages for these hitters having to face so many different pitchers, whether a team is bullpenning or using an opener or just a game in which there are a lot of relievers used, it almost feels like a pinch hit appearance.
Yeah, it's hard to gain traction, but also set up pitchers. Also try to work off sequencing and what they have. You hear organizations always say the pitchers have a tough time 3rd time through the order. It's because these hitters are making those adjustments, the proper adjustments. And the averages bear that most times.
Reyes in a 3-1 count, swings and misses, and now a full count, 3-2. Franmil singled and scored back in the 3rd, as also twice grounded out to the 3rd baseman Adrian Beltre. Payoff pitch is low, ball 4. 2nd consecutive inning, Martin Perez issues a lead walk. He didn't pay for it in the 6th. See if that changes here in the 7th.
Another nice plate appearance by Franmil Reyes. Committed to stay within the strike zone. It's going to be pretty important. He's improved his swing and his approach, but also been very consistent staying in the strike zone.
Renfroe's 0 for 3. That's Connor Sadzik, and if the name sounds familiar to you, it's because he was the starting pitcher last night for the Rangers. He was the opener. He went 1 inning. But it's always odd to see the guy who started last night's game up and throwing in the bullpen, but he is.
The chess match continues.
Let's see, he faced Mejia, Myers, and Renfroe in the 1st inning yesterday. Walk, double play, ground ball. And now he's up in the late innings here tonight. We're talking about Oakland, getting a wild card game. And if the playoffs started today, as we like to say this time of year, we'd be in the Bronx against the Yankees. And I mean, I don't think anybody would be surprised at this point to see Oakland just go full bullpen in that wild card game. Winner take all. And that would be, you would think, a challenge for the Yankee lineup.
I think there's 2 options for Oakland: Edwin Jackson and Trevor Cahill to start that game. But you're right, Jesse. It's probably going to be an all bullpen game because they've been so good. Made some nice sneaky pickups to fortify that bullpen, but they've been ravished by injuries in their starting rotation.
A couple former Padres, Trevor Cahill and Edwin Jackson. Here's the 0-2 to Renfroe, and he muscles it out towards left center. Gallo will get there, 1 away. So a 1-out man on first base for Eric Hosmer back in the 3rd inning. Couple of men aboard, and they would all come home. Hosmer, Oppo again, and this time his 17th home run of the year. A 3-run shot off the Western Metal Building. Hosmer 3 for 8 in his American League days against Perez, so not a lot there. Padres have threatened in just about every inning tonight. But could this be another double play? For the moment, no. They're going to have to chase Franmil down, and eventually they do. The inning is over. Second straight inning with a double play.
Dividends right now for that $155 million contract Chicago gave him. But look, you know what I like about Lester, and he talks about it after the game as well, he's pitching. You know, back in the day in Boston when he had the big arm throw, the big fastball, he didn't have a rhyme or a reason of why he was having success. Now he's pitching, and he even said so in that article. He said, I would take the pitcher that I am today than the young guy that threw that fastball.
Well, the Cubs are going to need him to be the pitcher he was last time and from the playoff run, and also what he's developing to be right now, because they're one of the teams that has no back end of the bullpen anymore and also some relief trouble. With Clay and I, see you in the post-game show brought to you by Cox Communications, guys. We'll break down the entire playoff picture.
Mike Clay, thank you both very much. Matt Strom in for another inning of relief here against 8-9-1 in the Ranger batting order. Texas on top by 3, and John Lester being back to being John Lester would be key. Mark Sweeney for the Cubs down the stretch here. Chicago coming into play today just a game and a half in front of Milwaukee in the Central. And the Brewers lost to the Pirates, so they add on there. But Lester left his last start with the back injury and looking like his old self here today.
Yeah, and he with Cole Hamels together would be a nice combination moving forward. And as Mike touched on, their bullpen has had some injuries. Pedro Strop going down with a hamstring injury, and also Brandon Morrow, former Padre, signed to be their closer, is on the disabled list.
Willie Calhoun has moved to the on-deck circle to hit for Perez. Chirinos, one of the big hits in this game, the 3-run double in the 6th. This one in the air the other direction. Franmil Reyes makes the play, 1 away. Time now for the Bill Howe plays of the game. We mentioned Chirinos, a 3-run bases clearing double. That put the Rangers on top 4-3. Their first lead since 1-0, and that inning would continue and get bigger. Shin-Soo Choo and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa both with a couple of big hits for the Rangers, as Texas would send 10 men to the plate and score 5 times in the top of the 6th. Now Calhoun, who pinch hit in yesterday's game as well, and he takes strike 1 from Matt Strom. Came over from the Dodgers, where he was a prospect in the Los Angeles organization as part of the Cole Hamels trade. As you said, Hamels has since moved on to the north side of Chicago. That's a formidable rotation, even with the Darvish injury struggles, for Joe Maddon to roll out there in October.
Yeah, Cole Hamels 4-0 in a Cubs uniform. He's been rejuvenated. Arguably their best pitcher in the second half.
Not having to pitch in a triple-digit heat every 5 days with the Rangers probably doesn't hurt. Calhoun grounded out as a pinch hitter last night. Takes outside now, 2-2. Bay Area guy. Dodgers drafted him 4th round in 2015. One of the many September call-ups around baseball this year. Rangers playing with a 9-man bench tonight. Javi Guerra trying to make that play, and an opportunity finally to show off that arm. We've heard a lot about it, and you get a pretty good look right there. That is a special tool for Javi Guerra.
It sure is, and he had a smoke screen in front of him, Will Myers. Myers trying to be aggressive over third. He backs off, and you see Javi Guerra just fielding it and throwing a bazooka. Will Myers continues on, and then there's the strong throwing arm to Eric Hosmer.
He caught a pop-up, Guerra, back in the 2nd inning out in shallow left field. He caught a line drive in the 4th inning, but that is his first ground ball of this game. Strom trying to put the Rangers down 1-2-3 here in the 8th. Leadoff man Delino to Shields, and he takes a fastball strike. Walked his last time, singled his first time. Rangers have only been set down in order once tonight. That was in the 4th inning by starter Eric Lauer. Hard hit, and Myers comes up with it. Flashy leather from Will Myers. And a 1-2-3 8th inning for Matt Strom. Left side of the infield put together a couple of highlights here in the 8th inning. First it was Javi Guerra, and now Will Myers. A smash to the hot corner. And he comes up with it. To the bottom of the 8th we go. Three-game series between the Padres and the Rangers. The rookie righty Jacob Nix will be on the mound for San Diego against the veteran left-hander Mike Minor. He started against the Padres back in late June in Arlington, and Minor was unbelievable. He retired the first 19 men to come to the plate. Eric Hosmer broke up the perfect game bid with a one-out single in the 7th inning. So Nix and Minor tomorrow. Also on our telecast here on Fox Sports San Diego, Mark Sweeney, it's going to be Kids Day.
Oh, I love Kids Day.
Have some fun.
Looking forward to that.
My favorite part of Kids Day last year was showing the Little League pictures of the Padre I'll try again. My favorite part of Kids Day last year was showing the Little League pictures of the Padre players to their teammates and people trying to guess who's who. Here's last night's starter, Connor Sadzik. Are we going to see Little League Mark Sweeney? First pitch swinging, Hedges pops it up. Chirinos makes the play, and 1 pitch, 1 out for Sadzik here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
There's a pretty good chance if they have my Little League picture, which I don't know how they got it, but I'm sure they probably did. And if they did, there's a large dome that's probably trying to fit into a Little League hat. Because I had a monster, and I gave it to my son. My son Gavin is 6 years old. And man, he's trying to grow into his head. He's got a strong neck, they tell me.
You had hair, though, right?
I did.
Okay.
I had a little bit of moss. But I was thinning, probably early age.
Not Little League.
Who knows?
We'll examine that for you.
That's the reason why I love baseball, because you put a hat on, covering up your weakness.
Not a lot of weakness this year from Freddie Galvis. Couple of hits in this game tonight. His first start of the season at second base.
Are we going to have your Little League picture?
It has been requested.
And you responded to a yes?
Yeah. Thought I'd play along.
I'm saying you were a stud in Little League.
For like a little while. Very little while.
What position?
Catcher.
I love that.
It was all about the gear. And I talked to Austin Hedges about this earlier this season. I said, what attracted you to catching initially? And he said the equipment. It was the same thing for me. It was like you watch a game on TV, and it was the only guy who had different stuff than everybody else. And as like a 6-year-old or whatever, that speaks to you. I said, yeah, I want to be that guy. Plus you're involved in every pitch.
Who doesn't love putting on armor too?
That's it. There was a period of about a year where I was like the only catcher in my Little League who could catch a foul pop. And I took great pride in that.
You discarded the mask?
Oh, yeah. Very, very dramatically. Throw it way out of the way. Galvis draws a walk. He's aboard safely for a third time tonight.
Gary Carter fan?
Big time. That was my guy. Childhood hero. What about you?
Fred Lynn for me, but I loved Gary Carter. I had an opportunity to play a round of golf with Gary Carter. One of my favorite moments. The late Gary Carter. He was a gem of a man, and what a pro.
Javi Guerra 0 for 4 in his big league career. And takes strike 1 from Sadzik. Saw what he was capable of defensively in the top of this inning. Throwing out Willie Calhoun.
I'd love to see him get his first.
Hard hit the other way. Gallo was playing that direction, but it'll be out of play and into the seats. Nothing in 2. Guerra spent all of this season prior to the September call-up in those 2 games in Mexico with the AAA El Paso Chihuahuas. Had an opportunity to chat with his manager, Rod Barajas, back in the 3rd inning. He's here as part of the Padre coaching staff in the final few weeks of the season. Great conversation with Rod. Really appreciate his time. And he's done a wonderful job in El Paso the last 3 years. Another guy spent some time at El Paso this year, Francisco Mejia. Waiting in the on-deck circle. Appears he will hit for the pitcher strong. Two and 2 on Guerra. Guy's still only 22 years old, by the way.
Yeah, there's plenty of time for him to make adjustments. It's going to be pretty important off-season for Javi Guerra. But this might get him so excited because of this taste in the big leagues.
Big off-season, big spring training coming for him. And time called just before Sadzik delivered. funny. I feel like every September we start talking about what we're going to see in spring training, and then it's totally different when we get to Peoria. And then we spend a month there talking about everything we expect to see. And by the end of May, it's totally different. So much can and will happen roster-wise. Always surprises. Chopper foul, still 2-2. Garrett's put together a couple of these kinds of at-bats tonight.
And he's battled. Obviously, he's had some opportunities and some pitches that have been there for him. He's fouled off.
Avi waiting on the 2-2 from Sadzik, and he strikes out on a slider. Out number 2 here in the 8th. Francisco Mejia will pinch hit for Strom here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Mejia, switch hitter, obviously will go left-handed against Sadzik, and Doug Brocail, pitching coach for the Rangers, going to go out there and go over the scouting report. Way too early, I'm sure, to break down Mejia left-handed versus Mejia right-handed, but what we've seen from the left side has been wildly impressive so far.
Yeah, the bat speed sticks out to me, and obviously in Cincinnati, taking those 2 fastballs in his first plate appearances and taking them out of the yard in an impressive fashion.
Mejia made his Petco Park debut last night, not counting the 2016 Futures game as part of All-Star Weekend here. 1 for 3 with a walk, had a nice night behind the dish as well. Got a chance to show off the arm. Batting here in a 3-run game with Galvis at first and 2 away. Sadzik gets a call, 0-1 on Mejia. Sadzik worked the first inning yesterday and working the 8th inning here tonight. You've not said that very often about a pitcher in Major League history, but it's happening more and more.
Yeah, Austin Hedges has the same reaction I have. He's just a little bit closer. Yeah. Look out. I don't know how he hit this. You could see a lot of guys sprawling.
Was Myers trying to hide behind Hedges? He's going to get down in the crowd. He's ready now.
Always the team player.
Take another look at that foul ball by Mejia. Pay attention. Wow.
My goodness. Corey Spangenberger almost had to take out some chiclets. That was coming in hot.
Myers and Spangenberg both now moved behind the railing. Swing and a miss, and Sadzik with back-to-back strikeouts to finish the Padres in the 8th. To the 9th, 6-3 Rangers. Diaz on to throw for the Padres.
Now Miguel has not thrown since the Cincinnati series and is working his 8th game. Nice job against lefties with that cutting action of the fastball.
First guy he'll face, a left-handed hitter, Shin-Soo Choo, and then Andrews and Beltre, a couple of right-handed hitters. Stuck as a Rule 5 selection a season ago. And an opportunity to work here late in the season at the major league level. Doesn't necessarily look like a guy who would throw hard, but he can in a big way. Chu with an RBI single in the big 5-run 6th inning for the Rangers. Seems like there have been a fair number of times this year, Mark, where the Padres were just done in by a big inning. And sometimes it's the starter, sometimes it's multiple relievers, as was the case here tonight, but they just see things snowball on them a little bit.
Yeah, and you think offensively too, the challenges of getting opportunities and not capitalizing early puts a lot of pressure on the pitching staff. Andy Green understands more consistency with that offense will allow these pitchers to be able to make those mistakes and still be able to manipulate an inning. All goes hand in hand.
Chu breaks his bat and on one hop right to Freddie Galvis. One away in the top of the 9th. Well, you mentioned we've got Kids Day on Fox Sports San Diego tomorrow. They gave us a sneak peek at one of those videos between innings here. It's very funny. Very, very funny listening to some of the Padres trying to figure out who the little leaguer is. A couple of kids enjoying a baseball night in San Diego. Nice crowd tonight. 28,833 in the ballpark. You got the post-game fireworks show coming up. Andrews swings at the first pitch, fouls it back out of play. Andrews was the one Ranger to bat twice in that 6th inning. He singled to start it and struck out to end it. One and one is in the dirt. 2 balls and a strike. Elvis flailing, and now 2-2.
And he's frustrated himself. Just waved at that breaking ball.
Two-time All-Star, now 30 years old. And he hits this one pretty well out to left, but Hunter Renfroe is there. And 2 down in the top of the 9th inning. Busy night for Renfroe in left field. A lot of fly balls in general tonight. So 2 outs to the bases empty for Miguel Diaz, who's trying to put the Rangers down 1-2-3 as Matt Strom did last inning. Beltre first pitch swinging out to the gap in right center. He had 2 doubles in his last 2 at-bats last night, and he will repeat that feat here this evening. Doubled in the 7th and now doubles in the top of the 9th inning. Unbelievable.
Well, anybody that's a young hitter out there, just take note. Because obviously he has done a nice job pulling the baseball, but going the other way. Perfect balance and staying behind the baseball. And that's a clinic on how I hit the ball the other way.
So a 2-out double for the future Hall of Famer. Now Rougned Odor, another left-handed hitter. As you said, Diaz can really cut it on these left-handed batters. Blew the fastball right past him, 0-1. Odor struck out his last time. Odor hammers that to right and foul. Oh, 2 on Odor. And another foul ball. It's interesting you think about this Ranger team. I mean, they got some pretty big names in the lineup. But obviously struggles. And it feels like a couple of years of struggles now, but 2 years ago, this was a 95-win team.
78 last year, 4th in the AL West. When you have 95 wins, you almost assume that you're going to make some proper adjustments. It's going to be a better team, and there's been some down years. You have 95 wins, you have those career years that help you. Jeff Bannister at the AL Manager of the Year that year.
Really nice run for them. If you go back to 2010, Odor strikes out, and Miguel Diaz uses his strikeout to end the top of the 9th inning. Last chance coming up. The hottest relief pitchers in all of baseball. Going to revisit our keys to the game, brought to you by your San Diego Honda dealers.
Well, checkmate. It's a chess game tonight with the opener and also for Andy Green, the pitcher batting 8th. Myers, Reyes, Renfroe at the top of the order. 2 for 10, single, double, and 2 runs. But also G's in the middle. Galvis and Guerra, no double play, but no errors. See Javi Guerra's use of that right-handed arm, which is very impressive. And Freddie Galvis unselfishly moving over to second base.
Nice night at the plate for Freddie as well. Couple of base hits and a walk. As Travis Jankowski, the number 9 hitter, will get things started here in the bottom of the 9th. Then Myers and Reyes. So you got real deal bats coming up here. Down 3 in the bottom of the 9th against Leclerc, who we saw last night.
25 pitches last night, and he did not get the save, but did strike out the side. Faced 5 hitters in the 9th, but threw a lot of pitches last night.
See if that impacts him here. Leclerc, as good as it gets in the American League right now out of the bullpen, a 17-inning scoreless streak, longest by a Ranger this year, and opponents now 3 for their last 50 against Jose Leclerc. Franmil Reyes singled against him with 2 outs last night in a non-save situation, and now he falls behind 2-0 on Jankowski.
Yeah, since August 1st, 10 for 10 in save opportunities for Leclerc.
You always wonder about those high pitch counts with these late inning relievers. Mentioned 25 last night, 23 in his previous appearance against the Angels. It's a lot of mileage on the arm, but he has Travis out in front now, 2-2.
Yeah, that's a high velocity changeup, but when you see 96, 97 with the velocity of the fastball, sometimes you tend to cheat. Has that same look as the fastball.
He's blown 4 saves this year and bounces in ball 3 to Jankowski. It's just been a while since he's blown one. Payoff pitch to Jankowski, and Travis grounds it over to Odor. Rudned's got it and one away in the bottom of the 9th. Time now for our Carl's Jr. star of the game. Robinson Chirinos got the start behind the dish for the Rangers, and he came through with a big hit in this one, a 3-run double in the 5-run 6th inning. He would also come in to score on a double by Tyner Falefa. Rangers scored 5 times in the 6th inning, and Chirinos gave him the lead. They have since added on, and Texas 2 outs away from winning this series. Myers takes on the outside corner, 1-1. Well, remember all the way back in the 3rd inning, Javi Guerra came to bat, and he hit a slow roller to shortstop. Elvis Andrus couldn't handle it. You described it, Mark, as a do-or-die play, I think correctly. And initially they called it an infield hit, and it was the first hit of his major league career. And then they changed their minds and they gave an error to Andrus. Well, they have now decided it's going to be a hit for Javi Guerra. We said then sometimes official scorers will adjust things later in the game. That is the case. So congratulations to Javi Guerra, his first major league hit. Let's go back in time a few hours ago.
Yeah, I think this is the right decision because it's off the end of the bat. Very difficult play for Elvis Andrus. Even being able to get a lot on this throw. His momentum was going towards home plate. Javi Guerra deserves that. Hopefully they got the baseball for him.
So Garrett does get his first major league hit. And he's now 1 for 3 on the night with a walk. Franmil Reyes trying to keep this thing going for the Padres in the bottom of the 9th inning. Franmil singled in the 3rd inning, came in to score on the Eric Hosmer 3-run homer. Those are all the runs that the Padres managed to get tonight against 5 different Ranger pitchers. Reyes had a base hit in the 9th against Leclerc last night. Skies this one to right field. Chu tracking it, running out of room, and is out of room. Padres down to their final strike. Leclerc set, ready, and a swing and a miss. He puts the Padres down 1-2-3 in the 9th, and the Rangers win a 2nd consecutive game here at Petco Park, this time by a final score of 6-3. Padres Live, the postgame show is coming up next. Mike Pomerantz, what have you got?
Well, we're going to get you set for the series finale, but more than that, we'll take a look all around the National League as the playoff picture starts to crystallize a little bit. As we run out of time on the calendar, we'll have highlights of that, and Joey Gallo, being Joey Gallo, will explain what that means in moments on Padres Live.